Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Manual Gearbox, and we're back with our Old School is Good School series. And today we're showcasing the Alfa Romeo 33 Stradale, or Alfa Romeo 33 Stradale. Stradale stands for road going, streetable, something like that. And this car was actually recently released by Assetto Corsa. It was released among other cars. I think there was like 5 or 6 cars in total, plus a racetrack. It was like a big DLC. And I took a look at the other cars, and this is the one that actually caught my eye, mainly because it's the old school one. I'll be honest with you, I'm not an Alfa Romeo guy. I've never been like very savvy when it comes to Alfa Romeos. But there's something about the 1960s. All the cars that were released in Europe, that were manufactured in Europe in the 1960s, especially the sports cars, all of them tended to have like this bodacious aerodynamic lines to it. And this one is not the exception. This is actually the road-going version of the Tipo 33 race car. They raced in the late 60s, early 70s. Nonetheless, this car is actually rather obscure. I'll be honest with you, I've never seen this car before, before Assetto Corsa released it. And I did a little bit of research, quick research. It turns out this car was only 18 examples were made between 1967 and 1969. And that's one of the reasons why it remains so obscure, is because there aren't too many of them out there, Alfa Romeo released this car back in 1967. It produced the car from 1967 all the way to 1969. I think it was designed by a guy called Franco Scaglione, and this car uses a V8, a 2.0 liter V8 with a 6-speed Colotti manual gearbox. The Colotti was a very prevalent Italian transmission manufacturer. It folded in 2008. But if you read the history of Formula 1 in the 1960s, you'll find that the Colotti gearbox was used by just about every single racing team in that decade. So yeah, it's kind of a high revving engine. It's also, I think it revs all the way up to 9,000 RPM. So it's very, very those typical Italian screaming engines. And I think it produced around 230 brake horsepower. And the car, it wasn't a very heavy car at all. I think it weighed around 700 kilograms. So the power to weight ratio on this car was just over the roof. Speaking of that V8 engine, if you look through the rear window, I'll post a picture of it here so you can see very clearly. You'll actually see the intake trumpets for the engine. Yeah, there's actually 8 of them right there. And you can only imagine the noise of that induction system going through the air, going through those trumpets. Not only that, but also the screaming engine itself. I mean, you got like the engine screaming at 9,000 RPMs, and you got the induction system right behind your head. So you can only imagine the sounds you're likely to hear when driving this car around. It's got to be one of the most awesome experiences in my mind. So quite an impressive car. And one thing that I was reading about it was that this car, when it was built by Alfa, when it was released in 1967, this car had a price tag of around $17,000. Back in those days, the average cost of a new car was around $2,800, nearly $3,000. So you can imagine the price difference between the typical street car to a sports car like this. I mean, this was a car that exclusively for the rich. And like I said earlier, it was released along with the Laguna Seca, which is the newest addition in racetracks to Assetto Corsa. So we're going to be taking this car out for a drive around Laguna Seca, and we'll see how it handles. Okay, so I'll see you guys on the racetrack. Okay, so we're back at Laguna Seca. This time we're driving the Alfa Romeo Tipo 33 Stradale, 1967. This is actually the first time that I'm going out with the car. Don't know what to expect. Let's just get this guy going. Okay, right off the bat, this car, despite the fact that it has 230 brake horsepower, is not quite a torquey engine. takes a while for the car to gain speed. Listen to that engine in the back. No, it's not a torquey car. I mean, it's 6,000 RPMs and still the car is gasping for power. Yeah, Laguna Seca isn't known for being a high-speed racetrack. This is famous for its high-speed sweepers. Got a heel and toe this car. Those engine blips sound awesome. Gotta be careful here on this one. Yeah, the car understeers. It's technically on the understeer side of the spectrum. Okay, getting ready for the corkscrew right here. 6-story drop. Oh, a little bit of a slide there. Nothing to worry about. Car feels light on the steering. Wow, that engine in the back. Can't hear the intake manifolds. I mean the intake, the ignition trumpets. They're back there. I can't see them through the rear view window either. Go in too hot, like, you know, a little bit over speed. The car tends to slide quite easily, so gotta be careful on that. Okay, now this turn 6. Turn 6 is a blind corner here, so you gotta take that with a pinch of salt. This time we took it very conservatively. Didn't want to upset the car. Look at all the people up there on the stand. They're so happy to see this car on the racetrack. Like me, probably. Oh! Yeah. That was a... Didn't give it enough blip on the throttle, and that was a engine braking oversteer. So performance-wise, this car isn't exactly, you know, like something out of a movie or anything, you know. If looks could kill, I mean, this car will be like the most murderous thing on the planet. But no, it's actually quite a tame car, you know. You can drive this easy. That V8 engine, though. Listen to that, I mean. As always, I'm going to post a few laps of the on the replay from the outside, so you can take a look at the car and also hear the engine. This thing must sound awesome being outside. I mean, if it sounds awesome inside, it's got to feel even better outside. The engine sounds somewhat like the Climax V8 engine in Formula 1. Like the Lotus 25. It's got a, like, sounds similar, but obviously this one sounds a little bit more angrier than the Climax. Okay, one more lap and we'll call it a day. So I thought it would go, the revs will go all the way up to 9,000. It's actually 8,500. Oh yeah. It does handle quite good though. It's understeery, I mean this car understeers. But the car goes wherever you want it to go. The car understeers pretty bad under throttle. That's one thing that I'm noticing. Yeah, quite an interesting car. It's also a blast to drive as well. Gotta be careful here. Oh. Gotta take it easy because turn 6 is always a tricky one. Then comes this one, the trickiest of them all. Okay, so we're going into the pits. I think we did 3 laps, which is more than enough. This turn right here can get you in the curve if you're not careful. So yeah, this is the Afla Romeo 33 Stradale. Beautiful race car. It's not a race car, it's actually a street car, but sports car I should say. But yeah, nonetheless, you can turn this into a race car if you wanted to. Only 18 were made, so don't know their cost nowadays, but you know, still awesome race car. I mean, awesome car. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you on the next one, and bye bye. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See ya.